Alright, we've been to the beach. We got all your bullshit. Can we finally make some drinks now? I can't wait to find out how this is going to turn into an arduous combat trial. Okay. So there's a button, and only a seeker can press the button. Great. Fine, not foreboding at all.
Look, you don't understand. If you think about this, the machine will just self-combust. Just press the button, okay? It's you. You have to do it.
I would like to observe for the record that I have used this machine exactly once, because the gimmick drinks are, like, interesting and all, but ultimately, I don't see the need. This game has too much food in it. Okay, great, trial. That's what we want. So, previously in this machine, we had to intercept bubbles coming out of the walls and throw them into the vents. Now we have to intercept bubbles coming from enemies. Except, we're not trying to brew stuff, we're just trying to complete this trial. The trial happens to involve doing a bunch of fights. That's ancient logic for you. These guys naturally are more or less totally invincible until you activate all 4 ovens. Then you can get them. They're fairly beefy, but nothing a good amount of lightning can't help with. By the way, it's very important to observe that these guys spend most of their time floating a little bit above the ground. So, unless they're in the middle of doing one very specific attack, you can just shunt the ice things under them. That's the attack, by the way. There's also a lot of fire coming out of the walls. That actually does increase as the heat gauge rises. So watch out for that. All told, this is not a bad gimmick. It's like, it's neat, it does cool stuff with a thing that we've done before. It comes dangerously close to outstaying its welcome. In fact, in the normal course of proceedings, it probably will end up outstaying its welcome, because what will probably happen is you will forget about the overheat. And then this will happen. It just spends a couple seconds just spewing fire absolutely everywhere. The shields do not stop recharging.
Is there some way to stop it from overheating?
Well, yeah, you can chuck ice in it, like before. It's just that, you know, you have to remember to do that. Honestly, this works as well as it does, pretty much only because there's like 3 different things that you want to be doing with bubbles at any given point. And the bubbles are all coming from the enemies. So this is very much a matter of being able to pay attention to like 3 things at once. If you can do that, you're probably okay. It's just that this kind of drags a bit if you don't kill all of these things in one phase. So anyway, you kill 5 of them and then you have to fight a fucking magmanizer under these conditions. So have fun with this. I don't know if you've noticed, but Magmanizer is large and not flying. He's very much walking on the ground here. Also, this is also very subtle. I don't know if you've noticed this one, but he makes a lot of flames appear. Did you notice that? Did it escape your attention?
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that if if he were to get maybe too close to the ice balls that you are trying to get in the thing to turn his shields off, that might, present a small problem.
Yeah, absolutely. So, after you've done this, that reduces the shield. You then still have to break him, which is still a reasonably involved process. You gotta get through his ice barrier, then you gotta hit him with an ice block. Anyway, I absolutely cannot be fucked to deal with this bullshit, so I scarf down the chili dog and hit him with a full-strength Eternal Winter. Just fuck off. There is no second and third phase. They've been deleted.
So what exactly did we do to upgrade the machine here?
Who cares? It works now, right? Let's just not overthink this. We can now make sake. Hooray!
I do not believe we will ever be returning here for a drink, but thanks for the offer.
Fun fact, we actually will be doing one round of making sake. Not that that's very interesting, it's exactly the same as the other one. It's just that we happen to need some of that for trading. If I really put my mind to it, I'll even remember what Fox Sake actually does in combat. Like the other drinks, it gives you two allegedly quite synergistic buffs for a very short time. But I cannot remember what they are. I assume it's probably something dodging and something with focus. That sounds roughly in keeping with the archetype in question. Anyway, despite how much I want to complain about it, I actually kind of like this minigame just because it's like... It's one of those things that you can get into a zen about. You can just keep this whole thing constantly in motion, keep all the plates spinning, and like, it's satisfying to be good at. Even if it is not really very interesting. Also, I was really trying to get an even 7,000 and I couldn't quite manage it. Ah well, whatever. Let's continue. As I believe I mentioned before, we have, in fact, already gotten all of the tremor engines that we need to make this thing. I did, however, have to go and grind a surprisingly non-instantaneous amount of time to get a 4th sharp splitter, though. Those things do not like to drop. This was, of course, just the prelude. Here's the real quest. I'm getting the sense that being like any kind of craftsman or artificer in the vicinity of the Track of the Ancients is just kind of quietly horrifying all the time.
You know, you never know when the thing that you're trying to make will get taken over by some vague plot entity that will then be like, nope, actually, sorry, you can't use this. Only Seekers are allowed to use it now.
We're appropriating this for puzzles. Also, this door over here is not really labelled in any way, it's fairly hard to see on the map, and you've probably, like, if you're into exploring, you'll have been over here before, and you'll be like, oh, I've been over there, there's nothing there. There's nothing that indicates that that door will open, which kinda sucks. You can probably figure it out if you go and read through the quest log and it says, oh, she said it's somewhere in Cliff Exhibition. And there's only so many places that it can be. You'll find it. Anyway, this is Tremmy. I don't know why there's a console back here, it doesn't do anything. You have to talk to the machine. This guy is also a Category 1 fucker. He just is relentless. There's so much stuff coming at you in this fight. There's like there's 2 or 3 different modes that you have to switch between depending on what's going on, and he's also fairly resistant to all the tricks you can throw, and everything you'd want to do involves lightning, so on top of everything else you gotta manage the overload. Basically, this fight is a lot. The levels do kind of line up, but we might possibly be a tad underleveled for this. It's not really clear. So yeah, he has a passive wave aura that just damages you if you hang out too close to him. He just likes to passively fire little wave shots that home on top of everything else. He doesn't have to be doing anything in order to do this, it just happens. He also fires ice shots that bounce off the walls. So more to watch out for. Oh, and yeah, he's got a big laser. Can't be guarded against, can't be dodged, but it's real difficult. You've got to hit him with a lot of shock stuff in order to get rid of the aura, and then you can hit him with regular big number physical damage attacks. It's just that you've got other things to think about while you're doing this allegedly very simple thing, so
yeah, this is a lot.
Also, I keep missing him with Celestial Legion, because I keep forgetting that Celestial Legion isn't like Mjolnir. You actually have to hit people with it. I tell you, I can't fight under these conditions. Having to hit people with stuff is too hard. It needs to be balanced. And yeah, naturally if you take too long, then the aura comes back up and you get to go and deal with all that again. Really, the optimal strategy is to be equally relentless yourself and just build up your meter, and do not let even an entire second pass between that aura going down and you nailing him with a good Song of Storms. Probably a good application for some of the dash arts in here as well, but they're a little harder to hit with. But yeah, the optimal strategy demonstrated. Just never, ever stop. And that's how you win.
So now that we've ruined your grandfather's research...
Yeah, but we got the doodad.
We can, stop your shaking somehow?
Yeah, so like, you were cursed because he abandoned the research, even though the research got completed, and then we cure the curse by destroying the research. I'm lost. I can't keep track of this.
Frankly, I think it would be funnier if upon completing this quest, Leia started to shake constantly. Like, what did you think was going to happen by interfering in this whole thing?
I think canonically that is what happens if you use wave techniques. It's just powered by vibrations. Anyway, we get a weapon that is well, it's pretty much the upgraded version of the weapon that we made in the course of this, and we can upgrade it even more later by bringing a whole bunch of endgame items. Here we can see demonstrated the actual statistical difference between the base weapon and the ascended version. It is a couple of stat points in each stat per level. It's like 2 or 3. Right now we're looking at the difference between a level 68 weapon and a level 69. Here's a level 57 and a level 69 in the same category. It's a little bit more pronounced, but... oh. What I'm getting at here is that the ascended weapons sound very awesome, and in fact they are very awesome. It's just that don't sweat them too much. Just keep using your standard endgame stuff. Here's Sao again. Never ask why. Why is a bad thing to be asking. Also, how does that note remain legible in the rain? Well, whatever, I don't care. He's gonna wait there for a while. We've got real business here. It never was made entirely clear exactly what was the deal with the corruption that we were dealing with the first time we did the Guy's Gardener's quests. I think a couple of the encyclopedia logs said something about nanomachines, which was intended to be a tie-in to how the platform-exclusive quest for PlayStation was in this area and was a giant Metal Gear reference. So I don't know how much we really want to read into that. I mean, yes, it's CrossCode, but... well, as our friend Sao is demonstrating, there possibly is actually such a thing as being too meta. Hey, it's these things again. These aren't really any different to the last variant of these we fought. They do, however, have higher numbers and will ruin your day in approximately a proportionate amount of time, so don't take them lightly. Also, Lightning Prophecy is really difficult to use in areas with a lot of obstructions.
What is it even supposed to do?
Oh, you do a long dash, you create a start and end point, and you dash back and forth between it a bunch of times.
Oh.
Doing a bunch of hits.
Ah, okay.
We've seen it used before, it's just that it's kind of unrecognisable from what we saw when it actually works. Anyway, here's what we're really here to fight. This is an even more boosted version of one of those Ectovault guys from Servitor Temple. Seems to be resisting quite a lot of our damage. I guess we just need to break him. Also, hi, Claude. Yeah, that's what I said. He throws us a wave ball. And it does nothing.
I don't think it's dense toxicity here, Claude. Just, gonna throw this out there. Might be a lot of electricity that's the problem.
No, you see, it's toxic energy. It's literal toxic energy. And apparently, the solution to this is salt.
I was gonna say, I don't think that if we're dealing with a toxic spirit that the solution is salt. I feel like that's just gonna make it worse.
There is a punchline in here somewhere about toxicity and salt, but I can't quite bring it home. Maybe we can add that to the ever-increasing list of answers on postcards I've been soliciting. Anyway, we need to go to the beach to get the salt. And we're going to be helping out Linda again. The thing about this little activity is that it is largely identical to the last time that we had to help Linda out doing an investigation. And by largely identical, I mean completely identical. It is literally just this again, except in a different area with a different crew of enemies. So, let's not linger too long thinking about this.
So we really are just bringing out all the greatest hits for the DLC.
I told you. Didn't I tell you? Anyway, the different enemy cast does give this somewhat of a different experience to the Guy's Garden variety. Even if they did both have floating fishes that do weird things when you break them, but again, these are very different. The starfish show up in large numbers, they keep everything interesting. But it's the fish that you gotta watch out for, really. Linda does take damage, but I guess she can handle herself pretty decently, and also her health does regenerate over time, so this could be a lot worse. But she seemed to come out of this fairly unscathed. I don't know if she passively takes damage, or if like enemies have to do specific things to get her, but whichever one of those it was, it didn't happen. Anyway, now that we've done this, we can do the real quest. Now, we were talking about playing back all the greatest hits, but what if we played back a greatest hit from the Encore? What do you think of that?
I think we might be going a little too deep into, let's say, quest recycling.
Well, in any case, this is pretty much the same thing as the Picats, except now we're capturing salt slimes. It's a little bit different in that these guys will attack you for a while, then they will do one big attack, and after that they will be tired. You can hit them with wave stuff during that, and they'll be stunned. And then Linda will try and absorb them. This will happen automatically, it's not like the machine, you don't need to activate her in order to get her absorbing things, she just does it. This can of course go wrong. If you leave them for too long they will get, well, you'll see a pop-up that says Furious again. But these guys aren't as much of a threat as the Picats, so that's not really a problem. Anyway, they show up in batches of 5, we need to capture 5 in total, this just continues until you get it. Also, it's a little bit tricky to actually spot happening in action, but they actually recover their health if they, like, if you leave them for long enough after they get stunned. So that's also nice. But also you'll probably find this a lot easier if you just take out 2 or 3 of them from each batch. told, this is exactly difficult enough to be interesting. Also, Linda cannot run. She just walks over, which is why this guy was able to recover in time.
Seems like a slight design flaw.
Maybe that gear is just heavy. Alright, the furious electric toxicity versus, I guess, the molten salt reactor. What can possibly go wrong? Definitely not any kind of allegory going on here. Just absolutely nothing but entirely literally what it appears to be. The much less funny observation is that there's a lot of mythology and folklore around salt, and specifically, well, its value, literal and spiritual, and its capacity to ward off evil. Whole bunch of stuff to draw on there. It's entirely possible that this might just actually somehow not be a stupid reference to something. It might just be a fairly straightforward mythology draw.
Yeah, no, there is absolutely a basis on which this quest is drawing from. It's just, you know, it's also telling us to cleanse the toxic spirit with salt. So...
Alright, for real this time. Note that Linda is here, she does have stuff to do, and she does have a life bar. For the most part, she's actually pretty good about staying out of the way when stuff gets going. There's only a couple of attacks that this guy does that really have any realistic chance of hitting her. In particular, he likes to spawn these little turrets, which do like to shoot her. Even if they don't shoot her, they'll shoot at us and she'll probably be around when that happens. If it goes in a big line, it'll probably hit her. There's a lot of collateral potential here. Anyway, despite everything, this guy isn't actually that dangerous. I mean, sure, a couple of his attacks hit hard, but he doesn't do enough of them at once. Just as long as you keep on top of those turrets, you'll probably be good. Also, as long as you don't try to do an ether snipe while only having enough skill points to do a basic energy drain. But don't worry, our friends are on the ball, they picked us up. We did not miss the phase. Good job, Emily. It can be pretty difficult to keep track of what our friends are doing, but I assure you, they're working on it. Also, it's really satisfying to land triple bouncing ether snipes. Have I mentioned that ever? I feel like I should have mentioned that.
It does make a pretty big number come out.
Well, she's very happy about this. We forget sometimes that these are supposed to be, like, enormous civilization-threatening entities we're dealing with here. we forget how existential this stuff is supposed to be. But to us it's Tuesday. Or I guess whatever they call Tuesday on Shadoon. There's probably an ancient word for it. Citron would know.
Do people just live on this planet, or is this, like, strictly reserved for the MMO?
In the lore of the MMO, people live on this planet. In real life, it is 100% an entertainment construct. There's, like, the maintenance crew, but there's no actual civilization here. Man, this guy. Well, this time he starts out with 2 clones, and like before, the numbers have all gone up incrementally, but the overall strategy has not changed at all.
Doesn't even seem like it's notably more difficult.
He's working on it. Also, it's surprisingly difficult to hit him with Eve Snipe. I was very surprised that worked. He moves pretty fast, and even when he's not moving fast, he is usually keeping a dodge in the tank, so... yeah, it's a proposition to try and go for those. But if you can hit him with it, it is, well, it's Ether Snipe.
What a great backer quest.
Leah, I believe I've warned you before about asking why.